So what is the role of pricing? How can we use it best to attract and get people to want to engage with your dental practice? And we're going to look at pricing, but we're also going to look at the big picture narrative, and I'll explain what that means. When we try to attract new patients, what we have to do is we have to paint a picture, a narrative of who you are. Because people today are too busy, we don't have the time and attention to go and investigate and truly get to know every dental office. It's impossible. We would have to be a patient at that office to really understand it. So what patients rely on is your narrative, how you present yourself, the story and the picture that you paint as a shortcut to understand what it is that you truly offer. And that picture is painted best when it comes to differentiation. Because if you show up as the same way that every other dental office shows up, why would someone pick you? There's a lot of needs that are currently being met in the market, but there's also a lot of wants and desires about dentistry that aren't being met. So our goal, or hopefully your goal, is to differentiate, to position yourself in a way to paint that picture, to say that you are a provider of dentistry in that way that isn't being met currently by the current providers of the market. So that's differentiation, and that's the big picture narrative. So how does pricing play into that big picture narrative? Well, pricing is a touch point. What's a touch point? Touch points are all the different events all the different experiences that someone can experience with you as a practice. So it can be as simple as things like your website, the uniform your staff wears, the diplomas on the wall, all the way to the things like the plaza, the actual treatment itself, how you greet people, what's said on the phone, right? All these different experiences of you as a practice. So it's one thing to differentiate and present yourself as one way, and it's another thing to actually show up. And what we want to do is we want to align all the touch points, all the experiences of your practice to align with how you differentiated the big picture narrative of what you're trying to represent, of what you're trying to say that your practice stands for. And when we can align that, we create consistency and coherence. So we have consistent touch points, so people aren't experiencing one thing and then experiencing a different thing, which breaks trust, right? If you say you're one thing and then you show up a different way, that's inconsistent and it breaks trust. And it's also coherent. It all aligns. If you say that we're going to provide dentistry in a way that isn't being met, in a way that is premium, and pricing as a touch point, let's say you lower your price to be competitive with all the other cheaper offices in your area, then we break cohesion, because we said we were one way, but now this touch point is out of cohesion. So it's similar to consistency. When this happens, it breaks the big picture narrative that we're trying to build. They come in and they're like, oh, are they really premium if their prices are the same? Are they, and consider all your other touch points. Are they really premium if the diploma on the wall is the same school as the other diploma? Are they really premium if the interior decor looks the same as the other office's interior decor? And you get the idea. Some touch points are going to be more difficult for you to influence than other touch points. For example, a touch point is the plaza that you're in. Sure, it might be very difficult to change that, but it's also something that's within your control. You chose that plaza, right? You chose the school that you went to some degree. And so you have to consider all the different touch points that you have, and pricing is a big one. It's a big way, it's a very reliable shortcut for people to understand what your practice is truly about. So the role pricing plays in that big picture narrative is to align with how you choose to differentiate. And how you choose to differentiate is widely misunderstood. We have to first start with who we're seeking to serve. What do they find meaningful? Because we don't want to differentiate in a way that's just meaningful to us, or that's just different to be different. If we differentiate in a way that people don't care about, then okay, they'll say that we're different, but they won't choose to come to you. So differentiate first in a way that's meaningful to people, and then align all the touch points, including price, to support that narrative that you're trying to paint. And once you do, you'll get a lot more attraction. Thanks.